So you can run it and do whatever you got to do. And we'll just have to fill it up in between. Just don't run it like a really long time.
Like I said, Paul will kind of go over kind of the more technical aspects of it. I'll give you like my experience from running my crews, running employees, how I train them. Brought a whiteboard from the shop with some basic stuff that we kind of cover when we're training you guys, and also just as a reminder to them every week, every month. We'll let Paul run the demos and stuff himself. Right. We'll just go over this.
Just bring it over.
Okay, cool.
You got it?
Yeah. Okay, while we're waiting on Paul then, I literally just grabbed this out of the shop this morning. This is always on the wall. We just have this kind of phrase that we say, get it done right. There's no point in half-assing the job or not turning up and thinking you can just run a surface cleaner, wand over it and then walk away, collect the check. So we always kind of go through safety, preparation, execution, review. Safety is pretty self-explanatory. You want to make sure the equipment's safe. In terms of my employees, I want to make sure they're safe, so we always issue gloves, safety glasses at night, headlamps, high-vis clothing, things like that. But I'm going to pass on to Paul quickly before we go over this. Yeah? You want to just get started?
No,
you didn't do mine.
No, we're just going to cover an overview here.
Okay.
We want to talk about what we do to get ready for the job, how we prep the job site, different job setups, recovery, and things like that. So we're going to go right. What you're doing, talking about is perfect. So.
Okay, so clothing setup, location, activity. We've gone over clothing, equipment setup, basically just as self-explanatory in terms of your own maintenance, having a quick visual check of equipment, your truck, your trailer, and all the kind of tools that you're going to be using. In terms of my employees, or if you're just doing it yourself, location, you're typically going to have walked the location before you get there. So whether it's a day job, night job, you should be knowing the location of all the water points. Our specialty is shopping centres, so we have an understanding of the tenant mix, closing time, so if it's a bar they might kick out at 2 AM, so we know to stay away from that area. If it's a grocery store, they're going to close at 10 PM, employees are probably out by 11 PM, so just have a real kind of understanding of the location so you know when you set up, you're not having to reset up 20 minutes later because you've picked the wrong location to start in. If it's a daytime job, you're doing an apartment complex, you're going to want to have communicated with the customer in terms of letting tenants know where you're going to be and when you're going to be there. There's nothing worse than setting up with 200 foot of hose going one way, going the other way, and then someone wants to back their car out. You've left the surface cleaner in the way. So again, just know your location. Big thing for us working at night is in terms of activity. The demographics of the location, it might be a bit of a rough area, so we want to make sure that we're maybe sending 2 or 3 guys. They are going to work, but they've all got each other's back. If it's a nicer area, then maybe I'll just send 1 guy. So it's just different things to take into consideration. Preparation, which Paul's kind of going to go over, is set up all of your equipment, how to best so you're going to be working efficiently. In terms of my employees, my preparation is make sure all the information is on the work order or the site plan, all the water points. Like I just said, where the tenants or the problem areas might be, and then anything else on the job site that might slow you down. It might be a shopping centre that's got columns every 10 feet, it might be 20 foot wide sidewalks. Each one of them has their own characteristics in terms of how you're going to set your job up or prep the job. Execution and review. Execution, in terms of how I speak to my guys, it's just quality, speed, awareness. They're all self-explanatory, but the one thing I always kind of say to them is 10-second rule. So we might be cleaning this little bit of concrete, but at the end here we've left a whole load of mud. Once we've cleaned this bit, how long is it going to take to clear that mud away? I'd say 10-second rule. It's going to take you no more than 10 seconds to sweep that mud up, scoop it up, blow it away, whatever it's going to take care of. Columns, ledges, everything round about. You've got a storefront, you see cobwebs on the window, you see dust on the ledges. It takes you 10 seconds literally to go rinse, rinse, rinse. Instead of just leaving it and leaving it a problem for the customer to then deal with later, 10 seconds to do all these little jobs. 10 seconds adds up. It could actually end up being, $10,000 because you're the one that has done this job. They'll give you 3 or 4 more properties because you're the one that's taught your employees, or you yourself have taken the 10 seconds to do that little bit extra work. And then review is just to make sure that you report everything, check the quality of the work, check the equipment when you're done. If you've had any issues, maybe worse.
Container out there or a contractor, paper contractor, pressure washer, they never even see one of these things. See what I mean? And when they operate it, they're going to miss. They're not going to see what they're missing because the pavers are wet, and they're not going to get the sand correct, and they're not going to do a lot of things correctly, and therefore they're going to just put the sealer on. Because everybody thinks this is very easy, and we did make it user-friendly, very user-friendly. But you don't do things correctly, you're going to pay for that mistake. So they seal it up, and what happens a week later when everything dries, you see all the zebra stripes, as we call it in the industry, appear through the sealer. So they fail. So consistency of cleaning, consistent joint sand levels, get into wet sand also, and make like you're doing
get that done, we don't have to stop and lose that time to clean because it's got to be done in a short amount of time. So build your checklists and your systems in there so that you know everything you got to bring. As you're prepping for different jobs, just keep making lists. And as you make those lists and build that systems, you're going to make your company ready to go to that next step, the 3, the 4, the 5 guys. Like McDonald's, they can hire anybody off the street to plug him in a job, and in a day he's making your meal because he has his checklist to follow. That's what you want to do. And then 10-second rule. He's talking about the little extra things. I tell this to my guys all the time, and you should tell it to your people. You're a cleaning company. You're there to clean. When you clean the sidewalk and you don't clean that little bit of the wall right next to it, does your sidewalk really look clean? You want to make a wow factor. And if it takes 10 seconds to do the little things, do the little things, because sometimes the little things turn into the really big things.
How many times you get the call back on your guys clean that dumpster? It looks really good, but the parking lot now looks like crap because they pushed all the stuff on the dumpster out in the parking lot.
Right.
Have you gotten that one?
Initially, but then, like I said, we reviewed the problem and we take care of it. So
Right.
10 seconds to sweep
Yeah,
up.
that's a great example. We clean the sidewalk and it hasn't been clean. The sidewalk looks great, and you blow it off in the parking lot. Oh, that's the sweeper's problem. Well, it's not. It's your problem because it's going to get tracked right back up.
I've won many.
We've had the same thing. We've had to go out and redo jobs because they tracked all the muddy water.
Nobody got hurt. Everything in the crew was dry.
The gardener is probably one of the most expensive tools in the line, but come up and feel this hole here. If anybody wants to feel it, lift that way. It's really, really light. I mean, incredibly light. But yes, it is carbon fiber. And by the time you just run a little bit of water through there, you know, it's not to the point where it's so heavy. Now yeah, I have water filling in there.
What was the folder you used in the hospital?
That was a gardener also. You want to turn the water on?
Jesse just did.
Jesse just did.
Did you test the TDI?
No, not yet.
How about coming out of the pipe?
No. Oh, TDI coming out of the pipe here is 222. What we're going to do now is just test this. So basically we're just going to grab some water here. Kind of a pain when it's shooting out so much and you can walk around and show it.
Where are you at? Are you at 0? 0.
We're at 0?
Yeah.
So brand new tank's going to be 0. We are going to get a little bit of, like, you can't really flush these like you could an RO, because an RO, you're flushing the RO, because the RO is the first.
Now we put in regular water here.
Besides the carbon filter hits this, then it hits your DI when you're done. So basically what I'm doing is, this one here has a lot of back pressure, so I don't like a lot of pressure, so I can adjust my pressure here. Because you don't need a ton of water to actually clean the windows. So what we do with what we're doing here is we're going to go ahead and clean the top frame first, real good. Then we're going to clean all the windows, the side frames. And then we'll go in and clean everything else in the middle. And right now what we're doing is we're just basically taking that 0 water and conducting it to release the dirt. Clean this frame real well. Then we go back up. And we basically rinse. We don't want to rinse back on that top frame real well. But then you just basically rinse your window coming down at that and point like this.
Show them how the sheeting. You're supposed to look at the sheeting.
Well, you're seeing the sheeting now.
Yeah, but they don't know what's going to look like when it's not sheeting. There's two kinds of windows. There's hydrophobic and what is the other one? So there's some windows that will not sheet. You gotta understand that.
Yeah, yep.
You want to explain the sheeting to them?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll turn it back on. Okay. What you're really looking for is, like, how about shooting water? Okay, see how the fingers on the is coming down? After you scrub the window, so you'll really want to scrub well. After you scrub the window and you're rinsing, that's really what you're looking for, is that sheeting, because it'll kind of tell you if the window how clean the window is. So you want to start up in a. See that part right here that it's not there? You see that? Where it's not sheeting right here, right there?
I see it.
Okay? That means that that's dirty. So the sheeting, when you start cleaning windows, is really what you're going to be looking for. You want that good sheeting. That's going to tell you. See how those areas are sheeting right there? So that's probably still dirty. I didn't scrub on that. I didn't want to. But when you're going back and forth, that's what you're kind of following, is that sheeting, those fingers. So that will help you out a lot. Another thing you have to understand too, is say we're doing these two pieces of glass. What can happen is, once we wash this top here, and then we were to wash this, you're going to have drainage from the top to the bottom. And what's going to happen is, it'll take the dirt from here and put it on, deposit it on here. So you either have to make sure you really scrub this well and rinse